So do you realize that whenever Stephen dies, the gospel then goes outside of Jerusalem? I kind of refer to it as leaking. It leaks out of Jerusalem, it goes into Samaria, and from there it's a flood. Paul will then take the gospel. He's Saul at the end of Stephen's life. They throw the clothes at Saul's feet. But then he's converted to the gospel, and he becomes Paul, and he preaches the gospel of grace. By the time he writes the book of Galatians, he says that Jerusalem is a slave. He says Jerusalem is in bondage with her children. So Paul has a total turnaround. By the time he gets to Galatians, he already sees Jerusalem as having rejected the gospel, and the gospel having went out from there. So I believe that the 70th week of Daniel is not on pause, waiting to happen in our future. I believe it was instituted at the arrival of the Messiah. That's why they knew he was supposed to come. It's why they were not shocked when the Magi went looking for Jesus. They went looking because it was the start of the 70th week. That's why when the prophets were confronted by Herod and they said, "Is it true?" He says, "Is it true that a Messiah is going to be born?" They go, "Well, the prophets say it could happen, and it could happen in Bethlehem." They literally were watching the scriptures. They knew it should be at that time. And in the middle of that, Jesus puts an end to the sacrificial system. And at the end of that 70 weeks, there's 3.5 years between the cross and the arrival of the gospel outside of Jerusalem to the rest of the world. And I think it's the death of Stephen that marks the final moment. Stephen gives them a warning and said, "You've killed all the prophets before him, and now you're ready to do me in too." And they do. And Stephen even sees the heavens open, and he sees Jesus. And he says, "Look," and they refuse to look. So I believe that if you could take the scriptures and see very easily where Daniel 70 falls in the timeline, it's not out in your future. And I just want to reiterate one thing, and that is that futurists have used the Daniel 70th week as their only basis for a 7-year Great Tribulation out in your future. So if you think that it took a pause in the book of Daniel and that it'll happen again someday, then you're going to want to be a futurist. You're going to want to look at things out in your future. But if you think that the scriptures just flowed one into the other, then you're going to have to evaluate when that 70th week occurred. I hope we've helped a little bit along your journey. Next week, we're going to dig into the next few verses from Matthew 24 as we continue forward. I hope you have a blessed week. God bless you.